In front of me, I have a 30 milliliter, 15 milliliter, 10 milliliter, and 5 milliliter scoop. And the fun thing is that these are all the exact same model. All I did was change two parameters, the volume that I wanted and the handle size. You can see that these handles are the same size. This one's slightly smaller and this one's smaller again, but they're all the exact same model. So let's hop into Fusion and take a look at how we modeled these.
All right, so here we are in Fusion. We've got our 30 milliliter scoop open, and we can just play through some of these configurations. You got the 5 milliliter with the 50 millimeter handle, a 10 milliliter with the 100 millimeter, a 15 milliliter with 100, 30 with 100, and 30 with 200. And you can see as the model parameters are changed, it changes live in the different configurations, and everything proportionally stays nice and the same, and the text changes for us. And we have basically every single scoop that we could ever want in our wildest dreams. And so basically the best way to do parametric modeling is to start with some good parameters. And so we have all of our parameters here. We have scoop volume, which is the dimension that is going to be driving this whole thing. So we requested a 30 milliliter scoop. And so that's our scoop volume. That's hard typed. That's the value that we're giving the model. Then we have a sphere volume. So the sphere volume that we're calculating, the scoop is going to be half of an entire sphere. So we have to do a 2x the scoop volume to end up with the sphere volume. And then we can calculate our scoop radius using the sphere volume. And just go on Google and find the equation for a sphere and then isolate for the radius, or you can even probably find it already isolated for the radius, and then just build that into your equations here. We have the handle length, which is again a hard typed number. This is basically us saying how long we want the handle to be. And then we have a scoop thickness. And so this is a varying thickness of the scoop depending on how big or small it is. We're basically saying that the thickness should be a minimum of 1 millimeter at the smallest end and then gradually get larger as the scoop gets larger. And this is to make sure that when it's really big, the walls aren't super thin and flimsy, and that when it's really small, it's proportional and it stays small and it can still act as a scoop and it's not functionally just ruined by having really thick walls that can't scoop anything up properly. So that's our parameters. You can actually do a fun thing where if you already have a parameter list built out, you can export it, or that's the export button. And then on our new model, we can just import them in to make it a lot faster, and you don't have to see me build those out live. So we're going to modify, change parameter. If you were to do this from scratch, you would hit the plus button and you would give it a name, a unit, an expression, and a comment potentially. Don't need to use a comment, but it can help future you or whoever you're collaborating with understand what the variables are doing. For us, we're just going to import, and I'm going to do it from the computer on my desktop. And you can select or deselect whatever you want. We want all of these. And so we're going to do an import, and there you go. They've come in all populated, which is great. So we can go straight to modeling. I'm going to model from the top plane. I'm going to use 2 circles, and then I'm going to dimension the inner circle. I want 2x the scoop radius because I am dimensioning a diameter, and I made the wrong symbol there. Didn't hit the capital key or the shift key. I want this to be the scoop thickness. So that's the size of the wall. And then I want a line. I'm actually going to intentionally put it above so I can add the relation. I've had some issues where this doesn't snap correctly. And so that looks right to me. So we'll go to our solids, revolve. I want to revolve that wall on the other edge, and I want the axis to be the center line, negative 180 degrees, because I want it to go down, and I want to keep this top surface as the main top surface. By default, this will be 360, which will just create a sphere, but we want half of that, so negative 180. Hit OK. And that's basically the measuring portion all sorted out. Now we're going to set a new sketch on this rim here. So create new sketch. And I'm going to create a line, make it construction. And here you can make some decisions about if you want the handle length to determine the center line of the scoop to the outside of the handle, or if you want it to be the edge of the scoop to the outside of the handle. It's where you get to kind of make some decisions and have some nuance about what that number actually means. For me, it's going to be the middle of the scoop to almost the edge, because you'll see that I'm actually going to add some more material on the outside too. So we're going to call this scoop, handle length. And then I'm going to add a circle over here again. I want that to not be construction. I want to give it a dimension, which is going to be our scoop radius. So now it's going to be half the size of this circle over here, and that'll just keep the proportions nice and simple, and this will scale with the rest of the model, as opposed to having a really small handle end with a really big scoop, or vice versa, where this end here could end up being larger than the scoop itself if we weren't being careful. And so I'm just going to add some lines here, trying to avoid any relations that I'm not trying to add right off the bat. And then I'm going to go tangent to these guys here. And I'll show you why in a second. I'll do tangent again for these lines here. All right, so those are set up. I have one last line to add, which should not be construction. I want that to be tangent to this outer edge. And now that's all defined, which is great. I can do solid extrude. And I'm going to go negative scoop thickness again. So negative because I wanted to go down, and that it was in the right direction. And now I'm going to do a extrude from this front surface here on the handle. Do an extrude. And instead of a distance, I'm going to do a to object, because I want it to just go up to the sphere every time and no further. This will do join and OK. And so you can see that it's basically filled the gap between the handle surface we had and the scoop itself. So I've prepared a few demos of things that can go wrong here. If you were to create the scoop and then create a profile that followed it along the edge and then extrude down, you'd end up with something like this, where you have a gap between the scoop and the handle, and Fusion is not going to let you do an extrude from this curved surface towards the sphere. It just doesn't like that. It wants you to do the extrude from a flat surface. And so in this case, you're going to run into problems, and that's why I didn't go that route. And then you also have this other scenario where I've drawn this where the edges here, these corners, go all the way to the edge of the sphere. And from the top plane, this looks okay. Like, I can't really see any issues with this from this vantage point. But if we go and we look at it from the left side and we zoom in on this corner, you're going to see that since this is a curved line of the sphere, you actually have this little corner of the surface that pokes out, and then it's not going to let you do the extrude. It doesn't have anything for this little corner to land on. You're basically trying to extrude it into infinity and has nowhere to stop. So it's going to throw an error saying, hey, I don't really know where to stop this thing. And that's not going to work. So two things that you could run into while you're making that type of command. But anyways, we have this one that works, which is great. So let's add another sketch on top of here. I'm just going to add a construction line, kind of floating, but horizontal. And I'm going to give it a text. And for text, if you want to do a variable, you can do scoop volume plus, and then apostrophe milliliters, apostrophe again. And I want this to be 10, 10's good. And then I want it to be right side adjusted. That looks good to me. 10 millimeters is basically what I'm going to leave at for all of them. I'm not going to have this adjust with the size. The text can just stay the same. And you'll see why I do that in a second here. I'm going to dimension the top to there and make that 5 so that it's centered. And so I know that the text is always going to be 10 millimeters across. I'm going to set that to 5, and then I'm good to go there. And then I can also create a relation where I make a point on the edge here and make those two horizontal, and then I can dimension from there to there and always have a consistent gap as this circle grows. That's where I want it. So I want, yeah, let's call it 4 maybe. 4 looks good, just playing that by eye. That's also not going to change as we change the model. So that's good. I can do an extrude. I can select that profile, and I should be able to do a negative. Nope. Extrude. There we go. That's better. -1. Don't need much. Hit OK. And now we have that 30 milliliters, which is great. The last feature that we're going to add on here is that rib on the bottom. And so we're going to do another sketch on this side profile, which is the mid plane. And now I want a line. I kind of want it to be in this area here. So I want that to be vertically related, and maybe that one and this one. And I need to guarantee this always connects. Probably somewhere in that midpoint. I hadn't really thought this one through too much. We'll just do a relation there with its coincident. And then this one I will leave floating, but I'll give it a dimension where this is going to be half. Maybe scoop radius divided by 2. There we go. Then as this gets larger, this will also get larger. As it gets smaller, it gets smaller. You get the idea. And then we can do a rib. Select the profile. You can see it extends that line up to whatever you're using. You don't actually have to create a line that connects when you make ribs, which is kind of an interesting use of that tool. And then we're just going to do the scoop thickness again as our overall thickness for this portion for the rib. That looks pretty good to me. Happy with that. And the last thing to do here is to just create our configurations. So we'll create a few additional configurations. We'll add the parameters that we want. The driving parameters are this volume and this length. Everything else can stay off. And then we can go in and create a 5, 10, a 15, a 30, maybe even a 60, and maybe even 100. And then our handle can also change, so we can make it 50 for the small ones. Leave it at 100 for the 2 middle ones, and then maybe it even goes to 150 for those guys. All right, and I should have left that open, and now we can skip through these. So that text, you can see, just fits on the 10 milliliters, 15, 30, 60, 100. So we've hopped over into Bamboo Studio, and we exported every single one of the configurations as a step file from Fusion. And I'm just going to show importing a single file here. If I add the 30 milliliter back into here, and I want to set the number of deflections and the angle deflections, hit OK. I usually just leave it at the standard. And so now we have that part imported. You can see that the orientation is not what I'm looking for. You can either do a rotation here and do 180, of the green. So you could come here and put in 180 degrees, or you can do this automatic lay on face feature and it will highlight this flat face, and I'll click that and it'll put it against the build plate, which is a pretty convenient feature. As far as the actual settings go, I'm just doing the 0.2 millimeter standard profile, and I'm using some generic PETG here, which is what I have loaded up. The final thing that we need to take a look at is the supports, and we want to enable those because we have a sphere that's facing down and we have some unsupported space in the top there that we can see if we go into the preview and we go through the slices. We'll see that it is unsupported unless we actually put those tree supports in there. And this will usually come out all right, but better safe than sorry, and you do get a better surface finish on the inside of a sphere if you do use those tree supports. So that's what we're going to go with, and this is ready to send to the printer.
So here are results off of the 3D printer here. I'm just going to pull out those supports. You can get away with printing a dome without any supports, but it starts to look kind of messy. I hope that's coming through. You can see some stringiness in there versus with the supports. So now we can verify our work. We can take the 5 milliliter and we can take our 5 milliliter from the kitchen and we're right up to the edge, which is great. That's what we're looking for. And then we can also look at a 30 milliliter and a 60 milliliter measuring cup. And that's 2 of these scoops becomes one of those, which is what we're looking for. Alternatively, you could weigh your results. 1 milliliter of water is 1 gram. That's a pretty convenient conversion right there. And you could test your work that way. If you want to check out these files yourself, I'll put a MakerWorld link in the description. I'll include the Fusion file and the step files for the individual scoops. And I hope you liked that one. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next one.